2014, 15, 13, 14, 15, 16 is the same. And we got a light for ABS traction, and there's also a squealing sound that started right in the front wheel. So we're gonna scan this car, but let's look at inside. We got a whole bunch of lights. Okay, so we got all these lights popped up in the dash, all these lights. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna scan this, and we started to hear a screeching sound over here. We're gonna lift this baby up, and we're gonna get the codes out, and most likely something with the ABS, maybe the bearing, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so here's the codes. Okay, so we're paying more attention to wheel speed sensor. Wheel speed sensor is gonna give us all these other signals in codes. We don't care about any of them, and that's the only one right there. Okay, so we're gonna work on, like I said, it could be a bad wheel bearing or the sensor got hit because of the bad wheel bearing. All right, so we're gonna continue the job, and after that we're gonna reset this. The lights are probably gonna go off once you drive, but you still need to come over here and do a reset. So let me just show you how to do a reset. So once you're done, you're just gonna clear codes. Okay, you see that? Clear codes. You're gonna go down clear codes and clear codes and continue. And if you don't have a scan tool, you want to go buy it. It's worth it. Go get a cheap scan tool. But for interlock system, you need to go deep into the system. The regular cheap scan tools, they're only going to go into your check engine module. So we got this baby up in the air, and check this out. Hub bearing is shot here, okay? So we're going to take this apart. So what we discovered here was the bearing bad here, and we're gonna take this all apart and let's see how this job goes. We're gonna remove the wheel lock here. So if you're using an impact on this, go easy. Usually they recommend you take this off on the floor, but there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Going to order the bearing, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna do this job together. So I ordered the bearing and I'm gonna wait for it, but meanwhile we're gonna throw some WD-40 over here. We're gonna take off this axle bolt here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the ABS sensor. We're gonna remove the retainer here. We're gonna remove this caliper, this Allen's, and then we're gonna remove these bolts. So we're gonna have to get this completely off. So pretty much, we're gonna pop this boot. We're gonna pop this boot, get the Allen's out. The caliper will come off. We're gonna take off this bolt. We're gonna take off this bolt, and it's a hub pretty much. So it's 4 bolts, and the whole thing should come off. The rotor's gotta come off as well. Oops. And we're gonna remove this ABS sensor since we got ABS code. So hopefully this ABS sensor did not get damaged. And let's see how it goes. Okay, so I went and got me an 8mm. That's what this is for the ABS here. And 8mm socket. And go easy on this bolt. Sometimes it's corroded, it's rusted in there, and it won't come out. It will snap, so you don't want to snap a bolt. And after that, what you want to do is, sometimes these sensors will get stuck in there. So you want to go easy on this sensor also. And I'm going to go get a needle nose. Okay, so we got our needle nose. We took off the 8mm here. And I don't know if the camera captured it. That's crazy. So this sensor, it took a hit. You see that? It took a hit. The damage has been done to the sensor. And I don't know how bad it is, but let's get ourselves a new ABS sensor, which connects kind of like down there. Okay, so the hub bearing is bad. ABS sensor took a hit. We got ourselves a hub bearing. This is the only one I could get. Timken, pretty good. It's almost like 160 bucks. Inside of here, it's gonna come in a package, and here it is. Timken, baby. So once you remove everything, you want to try this into the axle first before you install it completely. So this ring right here, this magnetic here, is where the ABS sensor picks up. Since it's moving around, ABS took a hit. And I want to put this on the floor, and we're going to start this job immediately. So I am going to start this job by taking off this 32 millimeter on the socket, on the axle. Throw some WD-40 in there. I did. First thing I like to do is I like to push this axle. Sometimes the axle seized in. If the axle doesn't budge, there's no point of going on. So I'm gonna get a chisel and try to hammer it. Can I hammer it straight up? It will damage the threads. Okay, I switched to the side of the camera because the light from my side is reflecting. So if this baby doesn't move, okay, then I cannot go on. But it seems like it did move, or did it not move? So this might be an issue for us. Sometimes this thing will lock up and it will not budge, and I think that is the case on these babies. And the bearing goes right through it, so if that thing don't move, the axle's got to go with it. Holy cow. That's what I hate about these hubs. No matter how much you heat them, they will not just come out. So I'm gonna try to put a light inside. Okay, it seems like it budged, but I doubt it. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out, make a decision here, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so the axle moved, but I had to bang the crap out of it. The threads got damaged, so we're gonna replace the axle as well. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take off this little guy right here. To take this off, just push this back. I've done this so many times and I can't do it now. Pop this above and this comes off. Put your hand on it so you don't hurt yourself. So we're gonna go in the back and remove the caps, and put the camera here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this cap. We're gonna remove this cap. Remember, you can remove the whole caliper by these two bolts, but I'd rather just take one step at a time. And let's see how that goes. Okay, so we're gonna use the Allen key here. This is a 45 T45, and I don't have a regular Allen. I have a torque here. Torque is the same thing. It will work. The slider pin comes off, and the slider pin comes off this side. And once these come off, I'm gonna go right back here and push the slider pin out, and push the slider pin out. And this side is the same thing. Okay, if you need to do a little bit more, you can do so. But the slider pin usually needs to be pushed out a bit. And once you do that, this whole thing is gonna come off. And what I'm gonna do is, I am gonna use this hook here, and I'm gonna hook this whole thing to this strut so it's out of my way. Perfect. It's not gonna bother me. So what we're gonna do next is remove the bracket bolts here. Okay, so 18 millimeters. 18 millimeter. That's the danger of swivels. That happens. Okay, so put your hand on it. If you take the bottom off first, and then attempt to get the top one off, it's gonna try to do this. So be careful you don't hurt yourself. So once this is off, your rotor, if you need to bang it, bang off the rotor if you need to. Okay, so far we're in business. So what we want to do next is, since this axle has to go all the way out, we're gonna take off the 2 bolts from up here from the strut, so the whole spindle can come forward. So I keep maneuvering this guy around, that's fine. So we're gonna go get 22 for these. Okay, I spoke too soon. They're 24. They're studded in bolts. These are studded in bolts. So you don't need to put in the wrench on the opposite side. If your ABS sensor is any good, if you're gonna bang these out, so make sure you get this sensor out of the way, since we're replacing the sensor as well. This gotta go, and we're gonna just push it and leave it out of the way. And it's okay to tap these right here. Careful. Be careful with your caliper on the opposite side. Definitely your alignment is gonna go off once you do this. So once these are off, remember I said they're studded bolts. That goes on the floor, and this goes on the floor. What we're gonna do now is, now we have more than enough clearance. I still need to keep on banging on that axle. The axle is seized in to the spindle. I hate when those happen, when that curves. But we don't have any choice. So I am using a lightweight hammer here. Replacing the axle, so I'm not even worried about it. Try not to hit the cup here, because then you will cause problems to... Oh, we're replacing this, so it's gotta go. But if you just change the axle, you don't want to hit this, and then your rim won't sit flush. So we're gonna come out this way. This is the side where we're gonna pay attention to everything here. Okay, so we're gonna turn this wheel around, and the axle, we're gonna change the axle, so we're not even worried about the axle right now. Right now we're more focused on we don't know what the hell this is, so this might be part of the bearing. Okay, this is a spacer, so we might have to, we're gonna have to put this back together. And what we're gonna do is get this axle out, and we're gonna bang out these 4 bolts, and the bearing should just come out. Okay, the camera was facing all towards somewhere else. Best bubble fluck. Anyway, we got the axle out. We got this little guy on the axle here, so that has to stay there. So 4 bolts, and this whole thing should come off. Guys, bear with me here. So what we're gonna do is, these are 15 millimeters. So I am gonna try to fit my impact gun in here somehow, some way, and I am gonna try to bang them all out easy as possible. So let's see if this fits good. And this little guy over here. Do not damage the bolt, because we are using the bolts again, and it is kind of tight space in here. But if you want to use a wrench, you can do so. If you want to use the impact, you can do so. So that one's completely out. So save them in order. Sometimes they're all the same. They might be all the same, but still pay attention. Oh, easy, fella. It's a bad angle. And my camera's on the way, so that's another thing I'm trying to capture on the camera. But that gives me no room. Takes a bit away, some of the room. But this side, I might have more than enough room here. Let's see how this feels. There you go. That's better. Okay. That baby's out. I'm gonna get the rest of these out. And this is the last one here, which gave me trouble. Okay, that did not give me trouble, but it was in a bad angle. So only problem that we had was the axle. If the axle was right, this job would have been completed today, so it's gonna take me another day. So there's the 2 bolts. Okay, so we got them all. This one here, and we're gonna come out and bang the bearing out of here. What I want to do here is I am gonna take one of these bolts into this strut, but the strut has changed angle. I was gonna just put it in there so it holds it for me, but all we're gonna do is simply bang on this evenly, and there's our busted bearing right there. It's all shot. We're gonna do a tremendous amount of cleaning because this thing is all freaking smashed up. We're gonna clean the heck out of this hub, scrape it as much as you can, and ABS hole, make sure it's nice and clean in there. Come on, go get a wire brush and brush the crap out of this. But scraping it with the blade or knife works really well. You want the bearing to sit flush. You don't want none of this crazy stuff in there. And there goes nothing. Okay, I'm gonna go get a wire brushes next. I don't even know why the camera's all off, all over. I'm gonna go get a wire brush. And what I want to do here is I'm going to brush the heck out of this hub here. And inside. Okay. That should do it. There you go. And buffing this a little bit will work better. Just file this flush, all of it. There you go. We're gonna use a cleaner, parts cleaner. Bada bing, bada boom. Time for us to let it dry off and install a new bearing. Okay, once it's nice and dry, what I like to do is I like to use a thin layer of greasing. So you can use any type of greasing, marine grease, anything you like. That goes on. And another thing I want to talk about is you have to put some thread lock on these bolts. I'm using this red. Red works really well. And that should be more than enough on 2 bolts. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other 2, which I have to pick off on the floor. So once you put this thread lock on, it's just going to submerge all over as it spins. And what we're going to do now is, since we have that ready, we got our ABS. We got our bearing here, hub bearing. So there's no upside down, right side down. So it's only gonna fit either way, this way or that way. It will not fit that way. So it should be easy for you to put in just like that, okay? You see how I got it on? If you didn't clean, it's not gonna go on that easy. And there goes one of my bolts. So all I'm doing is from the back end, I am putting my bolts in. 1. And they're going really smooth. So once one is in, let it go. Get the second one in from the back end. And when you tighten these, you want to torque these to proper spec, which the part you're not going to see me do because I don't need no disturbance. Or you could just hand tighten it, make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want to leave this loose because this comes loose, your whole wheel just goes flying. Anyways, there's the 4th bolt is in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten these up, and once these are nice and tight, we will come back and continue the video with the rest of the installation. Okay, so our hub is in, and gonna change the axle next. So this is the axle has this little guy, and I might put it on the new one if it's not on it. And in the bottom I took off the cover. It has a whole bunch of Allen screws, And right from down here, I'm gonna use my pry bar to fork out this axle. And what we're gonna do is, okay, so we got ourselves an axle here, and part number FD8220 Timken. Track motor is what makes it. Timken was the bearing. So in the box is what we got is an axle, brand new axle. This does not have a core, so if you put in a cheap axle, if the axle has a core, it's pretty much cheap axle. It's gonna make a click noise. It's probably gonna shake on you. But anyways, we do not have that little spacer here, so we're gonna take the old one and put it on. Comes with a new bolt and a new nut. And what I like to do is I like to put this axle in first here, so make sure it fits in there nice and good. There's no play. Perfect. So at least I know my axle is good. Time for us to pull out this axle. So we got ourselves a pry bar. Okay, you don't want to go too much on the transmission to crack the transmission. You want to go easy. So he's gonna follow along while I go underneath the vehicle from the bottom. So he's gonna be looking right here, and I'm gonna put this behind the transmission. And I do have a small little bucket in the bottom just in case some of my fluid come out. But look at that, look how easy that was to pull out the axle. And what I'm gonna do here is I am gonna just pull out this axle. Make sure you don't damage the axle seal, so try not to put any load on it. Try not to bend it a bit. And what's bothering me here is this little sensor here, so be careful with your height sensor. So here's the axle. What you want to do is you want to match your axle, okay? Make sure it's the same length here, same everything. And I do have a small little trick, okay? Small little trick. This ring right here, I like to try this on before I put any grease on it. But if you put a little tiny bit of any type of grease, even if you can get a transmission grease, it will just stay right in the center. And if your axle is not going in, okay, we're gonna look back in, and that grease will help you there, and it will dissipate. Okay, ready? Come inside, bring the camera here. So I'm gonna guide this axle to go in, just like that, from the bottom. It's kind of tight little spot. Just try not to damage the boot or the axle seal inside there, and make sure it goes right in. Okay, you don't even need to hit it with the hammer. You will feel a click and the axle is in there. Bada bing, bada boom. So far this job is going well with me here. So these are nice and tight, the 4 bolts. And so if you're replacing just the axle, follow the procedure for axle. So to change the axle, you really need to remove the brake line from right here. You don't need to remove the whole caliper. If you want, I'm sorry, take off the caliper and take off these 2 bolts of this little guy, and that should help you out. I even got the ABS sensor off, so I am going to be making a video on that ABS sensor. So remember what I said, off the old axle, I am going to be using this little guy off the old axle. It's a spacer. It has a reason, and it might do some damage if you don't have it on there. It's not going to do any damage. It's trying to have more clearance in between. Plus it works like a little seal. Anyways, you pull this out. Let's go inside here. Let's go in here so you guys can see the whole thing. So you pull this spindle forward, and this axle will simply slip right in. Okay, there you go. And what we're gonna do next is, we got our camera on this side now. What we're gonna do next is, remember, we turned the spindle a little bit that way, and we're gonna turn it back in. And once you take these off, your alignment might not go off, but I would recommend you get yourself alignment anywhere regardless. So this guy will come down. So pretty much this job is well done. These are studded bolts. I've been said that a few times already. And there's no preload on this, so I'm pulling it down a bit. And I'm gonna do the same thing for this bottom bolt here. Okay. Sometimes you gotta wiggle it around. And what we're gonna do here is, and I might have to maneuver this around a bit. This caliper is gonna bother me. Okay, it is bothering me. For some reason, this is not going in. Okay, there you go. It needs to go past a little flange. And then I could just beat this baby in. Okay, so these, I do not like to torque these. I just like to bang them in. The reason why I like to bang them in is because they're studded bolts, and they don't work out so good if you try to torque them, because the torque stops. Anyways, okay, so we got the bolts in and we got the axle in, and what we're gonna do next is, and these are studded bolts again. They go in, and this is the reason why you can't torque them, because the studded bada bing, bada boom. Okay, there you go. Okay, so let's finish up the axle. So you want to put this axle bolt on, and what you want to do here is you want to tighten this bolt. Make sure you tighten it to this torque spec. I am just gonna snug it for now, and you not gonna see me torque it, because I am gonna do that on the floor. And I usually put my hand in the back. I want to snug it. See that it's still moving? And I want to leave it there, and I will torque it. So to change out this ABS sensor, what we did was remove the 8mm bolt, and I am doing a hub, bearing, axle, and this little guy. And this guy comes off from right in there, and you take off the 8mm, and then this one took a damage. Okay, so we got the ABS light on, traction light, everything is on, and I probed this all out of there. We're gonna push this guy off from right here. So this is how easy it is to change an ABS sensor on this car. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to take the camera inside the bit, which is not gonna be so pretty to go in there because there's no space anywhere in here. So in here you have a connector here. Okay, so all you're doing is there's another holder here up here. See this little guy right here? It's both of these are here. Let's zoom up the camera a bit. I'm trying to get the best angle with the camera, which is not happening. It's not happening. So pretty much this is what I'm taking off right here. And then let's see if I took off the correct one. Yep. And it's the top connector here. The connector has a small little clip inside, and what you want to do here is you want to squeeze that tab, and the connector comes right off, and we're gonna go get ourselves a new ABS sensor. Here's the new ABS sensor. It's a Motorcraft. Okay, there's a part number here, BRAB4941X. There's another number here, 5763323. I believe that's the number. There's a number above that. JG like George, 9Z like Zebra, 2 Charlie, 205 Apple. Okay, inside this packet we got a good old Ford. Okay, oh, they give you this little bracket with this. That's great. That's great. But okay, I'm gonna keep the old one in there. There's a reason why, because it's thicker. This is thicker than this. And if you want to put this in, all you need to do is take off the sway bar. You don't want to go, that's going to be a hassle, so be careful with that. So this guy comes off. So here's our new ABS sensor on this baby, and this is the connector end, and this is the sensor side. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to simply go in there, and we're going to connect this sensor. So what you want to do here is you want to take this sensor, and it's only going to go one way. You cannot go wrong. And you stick this baby in. You're going to feel it click. It should not come out. And once you feel that click, you are good to go. And this wire is kind of small to get connected up here. Maybe we can move this. Can we move this? Does it move? Okay, it doesn't move. Okay, I'm going the wrong way, so it has to face up. Perfect. So this guy, I was trying to face down, but it's got to face up. A little bit WD-40 will help you out, but if you don't need it, you should be fine. But WD-40 will help you out. And then you're going to connect this guy right here. So this is the passenger side front ABS sensor. So same procedure for the other side. This guy come right through here, and then it gets connected in here. If you want to put a little bit of greasing on it, that's fine, but usually I'm fine without it. And what we want to do here is you want to put that one bolt in there, and we're gonna lock that up, and this guy goes right in here. So we got ourselves an 8mm hand tight. We're gonna tighten this guy. Okay, my wrench here is going the wrong way. Okay, just hand tight. You don't want to go crazy. And that's it. Okay, so make sure your line is not going to hit the wheel or anything like that. It's perfectly connected. Make sure the connector's in. Now I am all done. That's how you're going to replace the ABS sensors. The same procedure on the opposite side. And I still got to torque this. Other than that, I'm tight on the 4 bolts. I'm tight on this, and I'm going to put the brakes on. Okay, next step, we're going to put the rotor on. Make sure the corrosion and rust. Okay, this would be a good time to chain the rotor out and the brakes out. What I like to do is I like to put a nut here so it holds itself. Sometimes the nut won't go all the way, but it will hold it for you. Okay, and then I am going to turn this baby around, and we're going to come out this way, and we're going to put the bracket on, and then we're going to put the brake pads on. I mean the rotor, caliper. I'm saying things all mixed up. So this baby can just sit here for now. Okay, so bracket comes. Here it comes. Here comes the bracket. Remember, bolts are same, 18mm. So we're gonna bang these in. Okay, I'm gonna get the proper tool. We got the socket there already. So all we need is impact gun. Make sure these babies are tight. No jokes with brakes. Alright, so that's in. Next step, we're gonna get the caliper in with the brake. Make sure both brakes are in there sitting flush. Sometimes you have to compress this in, and make sure you do pump the brake pedal once you're complete. And I'm gonna have to push this slider pin in a bit. Okay, again, these little guys, you don't want to cross thread these, so try to get them in by hand first. And if you capture some threads, just like that, you should be good to go. Do the same thing up on the top. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna remove my hook here so I don't forget that. Okay, here goes nothing. This baby is nice and tight. This one is about to be nice and tight. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Don't forget to put the 2 caps on. Double check your work. So the last thing we got to do here is we're gonna put the brake retainer here. So how this works is I like to get one side in, and then with the other side you gotta work some magic. There you go. It's more easier to put in than to take out. Tap it, tap it, tap it, tap it, and that's it. Good to go. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll still gotta tighten this. Other than that, we all set. Make sure your ABS lines are nice and routed. Everything is good. Make sure your line is not bent. And that's it. Thank you for watching again.